So, Lone Rider here, and I want to talk about something. As a novice archer, I sometimes um, people are like, "Well, you're a casual comic book fan, and you shoot a bow. You must watch Arrow, right?" And the truth is, at one point I did, and I was actually very pleased with the program in the beginning. For those who don't know, this is a show based on the DC comic book character Green Arrow, and in the beginning, the show had a lot of promise. The character is basically the vigilante who uses a bow and arrow. So think Batman, but with a recurve, more or less. And I thought that was kind of cool. Just like I mean, being a cyclist when you know Premium Rush came out, I was like, oh, cool, an action movie where the main character is a cyclist. And, same thing here. I thought, oh, that looks interesting. Let me watch it. And it was actually pretty good, for a while. Then kind of went downhill and the quality got a little sketchy. But the reason I don't watch it had nothing to do with the sporadic quality in later seasons. It actually had to do with a deliberate choice that was made by the people responsible for the program, which resulted in me making a deliberate choice not to have anything to do with it going forward. And what they did was they did what became infamously known as the gun control episode, and they decided, even though this was an action program about the adventures of a comic book vigilante, a comic book superhero, what they decided to do was rather than tell that type of a story, they would have the main characters who were all armed vigilantes or their support team sitting around in a room debating about gun control. And yeah, it's as stupid and as offensive and as idiotic as it sounds. And you know, I mean, not for nothing, but people who turn into a show like this, they want to watch a little bit of escapist fiction. Have a battle, good versus evil. Um, you don't. It kind of ruins the experience to have all the crap that you're watching this instead of CNN to maybe get a little break from, to have that all dumped into the program. But to have the main characters sitting there debating gun control as if it's a good thing. Remember, these are the heroes of the show. I mean, for the same reason that I'd like to hope you wouldn't have, a comic book superhero debating whether or not to mug little old ladies or whether or not to go around stealing somebody's bicycle. I'd like to think you wouldn't have them debating about whether or not to take away people's guns, right? And not for nothing, but if you have fans who might be casual comic book fans, but are also watching a program like this because hey, they're archers and the main character is an archer. Well, archers are people who shoot for fun. People who shoot for fun don't make the best audience for a lecture on the benefits of taking away people's shooting implements. I mean, not for nothing. Um, this was the least likely audience to find this type of thing appealing. And of course, whether you approve of gun control or not, it was just so poorly done and out of character. And they had the characters saying things that they would never say based on their previous experiences in the program. These were all battle hardened, badass warriors. I'm pretty sure they all knew that most of these talking points about guns weren't true. Why? Well, because they've handled guns and they've faced them in the hands of adversaries. So they have a very real firsthand knowledge of how firearms work. They know the difference between a semi-automatic and a fully automatic weapon. They know that a civilian AR-15 isn't the same thing as an M4. Hell, one of the main side characters was a combat vet. I'm pretty sure he knew the difference between the rifle he was issued and the AR-15 they were all talking about as if it was an actual assault rifle, when of course it wasn't. So on and so forth. Anyway, I had enjoyed the show. It was fun. It was neat. Hey, the protagonist was an archer. But now I was looking at it and I was like, well, now the protagonist is a gun control advocate. Why would I want to root for somebody who represents something that I'm actually against in real life? It's something that I would associate more with, let's say, the villain than the hero. Um, and then the people who made the show, this fellow Guggenheim, I think, was the person responsible for this episode, who did it specifically because he wanted to have a conversation, quote unquote, about gun control. You know what? He may like gun control. He may think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. The point is this the format to do that? And are these the people? I mean, like when they pitched this idea in the writers' meeting, did nobody say, "Hey, wait, you're going to have a bunch of armed vigilantes lecturing people on not having weapons"? Does anybody like realize how stupid that sounds? Yeah, and I mean, I found it was offensive to the audience, to me. It was offensive to I think, to the actors and actresses who had to portray this crap, and it was offensive to the continuity of the show, since they basically had these people saying things that they had to know were true based on experiences you had already shown them having. They had to know these things weren't true. Why would they be saying them? Well, because those are the gun control talking points Guggenheim wants you to say. Well, then invent a new character that we don't already know about and have that person say it. To have characters who are already established as being past masters at combat buy into the same talking points as somebody who's never even seen a picture of a gun before, uh, like, unbelievable. And then, of course, the whole idea that gun control itself is offensive. I mean, uh, no, I don't want to further that. I don't want to support that. So I stopped watching the program, and I haven't watched it since. And it's kind of funny because a lot of people, oh, did you watch Arrow? No, well, it kind of went off the rails. The quality wasn't good, and the writing was inconsistent, etc. It's pretty much acknowledged that in the beginning it was really good and it had a lot of promise, but went downhill. Here's the thing: bad writing is one thing, and you can watch it and hope it gets better. Bad writing is a deliberate choice because it's more important to beat your audience over the head with a political message that goes against everything those characters and that story and that audience is there for. Yeah, not cool. Okay, not cool. So, um, being a sometime comic book fan and a novice archer, do I watch Arrow? No, but there's a good reason for that. And it's kind of funny. They lost a fan basically for life. I'm not going to have anything to do with the franchise or with anything that this Guggenheim fellow is involved with going forward, which might be unfortunate. I mean, a year or two from now, he might come out with an awesome movie. It would be a shame not to see it. But I also have to figure, if I were to go see it, or if I were to tune back into Arrow, I have to look at what I'm supporting and what I'm condoning, and you know, why do I want to support something that I'm against? And there you go. So, yes, I'm a comic book fan. Yes, I'm a novice archer. No, I don't watch Arrow, and there's a good reason for that. Lone Rider out.